So to the events of lockdown, 3 to 4 weeks into lockdown, Ollie's mood became very low and morose. His inability to come to terms with his disability surfaced again. He expressed a total lack of self-worth and an inability to cope anymore. This rapidly descended into violent outbursts, physically attacking us, throwing and smashing things. He and the rest of the family were put in danger at this time, so we installed locks on bedroom doors and put all knives out of reach. Post-event, as always, Ollie was extremely remorseful and distraught at what he'd done, considering himself a monster. This added to his already low self-esteem, and so the circle begins. He was scared of what he might do, provoking further anxiety and making another event even more likely. In the end, unable to get help, our GP suggested calling 999 as the police psychiatric triage service would be able to help. During the next episode, we did exactly that. 2 officers arrived, only to find from their crisis team triage there was no support for Ollie as he was a minor. They suggested chasing cams or going to A&E. We then contacted Helen Spadeas via Gosh, who helped us get some balls rolling. She suggested we contact our local MP, which we did, asking for an explanation as to why the CCG turned his referral down. Things then spiraled downhill rapidly. We ended up taking Ollie directly to A&E one day when he awoke, announcing he wanted to kill himself, as opposed to "I just don't want to live," which is very different. Despite Ollie displaying violence upon arrival and our usual persistence, he was discharged with no referral, no medication, and we were told to make our home secure. Days later, unsurprisingly, the volcano that had been threatening to erupt did just that, to the extent where we had to rely on Ollie's 15-year-old sister to call 999 as we were both restraining Ollie on the floor after a serious attack on us ensued. At that time, we had just been told that CAMS had rejected the referral and given us no explanation and no advice as to where to go next. Crisis team told us they would contact Palms and see if they could be of assistance. Ollie was ambulanced to hospital with police escort in the ambulance. Despite this, we still waited 8 hours to be finally seen. We had to insist on seeing a psychiatrist and refused to leave without any help. We were initially told there was no psychiatrist at Lister. However, after a very, very long wait after the initial request, we did meet a very caring and helpful psychiatrist who listened to our story, informed us she would contact the chair of CCG and ask them to overturn the decision. She also prescribed promethazine for when Ollie was having an episode to help him calm down. A month later, we got confirmation that funding was approved and a call between CAMS, who'd now changed their mind about the referral, Palms and Gosh was set up. By then, Ollie was in a far worse position psychologically, although the promethazine was helping keep things under control. It then took a further few weeks before we were finally informed that Palms would meet with us. So far, we've had 3 meetings with a psychiatrist who's prescribed an antidepressant, fluoxetine, to help the anxiety. We, parents only, have calls every 2 or 3 weeks with a senior behavioural therapist, looking at how we can better manage Ollie's behaviours by understanding better what drives them. He's also on a waiting list to start talking therapy for the first time. Ollie's responded well to the medication. The outbursts have stopped gradually, but the low self-esteem and anxiety are still there. Our family situation is better, but still fragile. The main barriers to mental health treatment are that Ollie is a minor with learning difficulties and an acquired brain injury. There is poor funding and no clear path to help, and there is an enormous gulf between the provision for adult mental health across the UK in comparison to youth. What is needed is one point of contact department who takes responsibility for Ollie's well-being and mental and well-being and development. Going forward, Ollie will need ongoing support, not just short-term intervention. We're still in fear that the Palms team could at any time withdraw all support and leave us yet again with no intervention or safety net. As a family, we're all affected and have all needed help. Thank you.